Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Rob Carmona, and welcome back to another episode of Rob the Mic. Thank you for all the love on last week's episode. It's one of those things I put this content out, and I never know how it's going to hit. I don't know what market's going to strike. I don't know if it's going to kind of resonate with people, and it seems like last week's episode really did. And a friend of mine reached out. A few of them reached out, but one of them specifically reached out, and we're going to talk about it later on in the episode. But the DM kind of hit home, and I was like, this is exactly why I do this shit. This is exactly why this project means so much. And even if it hits one person, for me, it's like, that's enough. It sparks conversation. It sparks the right things. It tugs at the heartstrings in the right way. And it's like, okay, cool. This is why we do this. And I say we because I can't do it without you guys. Like, if not, I'd just be sitting here talking to a camera, and, it's fucking weird. So thank you guys for listening and giving me the time of day and being a part of this, and that it affects you guys a certain way. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will never have enough thank yous. So that's going to be a continuous thing. It will be forever here going on out. So thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. But the weekend was pretty great. It was pretty great. It sparked up some pretty good things. It left me very pensive. Like on Saturday, I had a pretty long day. I had a show day, so I was actually doing GNRS, and it was out in Pomona. It's a great time. Honestly, I have zero regrets about it. Like, I know some people complain about the pricing and things like that, and I get it. I think if you're a spectator just to go and look at stuff, it can be kind of pricey. But for me, shooting, doing what I do for work, it's pretty fucking great. And it's one of those times that I get to go and see these really amazing pieces of work. And the fact that I got to let myself experience it and live it. Because like I had shared with you guys, I don't necessarily let myself experience things. I don't really let myself kind of enjoy things. I always experience it almost after the fact. And it's a weird thing to try to explain to people. And they're like, what do you mean, dude? Like, you were there. And I said, yeah, like, I know I was there. I know I went here. I know I did that. But it almost feels as if I didn't. Because the wave will kind of follow after that. And I've had this conversation with people before, and some of them get it, some of them don't. But in this one, I was like, okay, like, I have work to do. I have cars I need to shoot. I have things I need to cover, and I can't not do that, right? So there was the work aspect, but at the same time, I really wanted to be there. And the fact that I got to let myself experience that for me is really important, because I don't do that. And I was even talking about it with my therapist on Monday. And she's like, dude, it's cool to hear you say that. Because I feel like for a long time, we've been trying to work through this thing of me kind of enjoying myself, being able to talk about certain achievements without kind of getting in my head about it. Because I always felt very, like, not like I was being boastful in some way, or if I was bragging in some way, but I think I let that kind of, remain humble type of statement just kind of be my overarching theme in my life. And I love that. Like, it's a how would you say, a character trait, a quality that I really value. And my mom raised me that way. My mentors also kind of buried that into my head, and I don't ever want, and I won't ever let that go, because it's a big part of me. And also, I think it just kind of moves with the way that I go as a person, right? Like, just kind of, you move in silence, you do your things, you make shit happen. And it's not about other people, because everything that I do it for myself. I do it for the people around me, but ultimately I do it for myself. Like, I want to make myself happy. I want to make myself proud. Because it's like we've talked about multiple times on this show, right? It's like, dude, you go to sleep at night, regardless if you lay next to somebody, you're by yourself. So the least I can do for me is feel okay. And if I can close my eyes every night and know that, yo, like, you did your best today, you were happy, you felt this, you felt that, you let yourself experience this, you let yourself experience that, then ultimately that's all I could do. So I feel like I hit that mark for myself. And Saturday was a big one. So from an automotive standpoint, that event is fucking incredible. You're going to see things that you've honestly never seen in your life. And if you're into old school cars, you're into hot rods, and you're just kind of, you gravitate towards that scene, or even if you're not too familiar, you can go and you're going to appreciate so much about it. And the cool thing, at least for myself, I know a lot of other friends that kind of sit in the same realm too, like, you know, Albert, who is a fabricator, who is a mechanic, who creates and does all these amazing things with all the tooling that he has. And thankfully, he's exposed me to a lot, right? Like, Albert is a huge reason why I wrench the way that I do. Because I've always kind of been into cars, but I never fully had the opportunity to jump as deep as I did until I met Albert. And that's when I really got to get my hands dirty and I got to learn and understand. And there's so much that I've been given because of that relationship with him. And I'm very, very thankful. And I know that, for example, somebody like him appreciates events like I went to on Saturday, because you're walking around and you're just in constant awe of all these things that these people have created. And I think that's where there's a big differentiation between like Americana and JDM. And I compare those two just because those are the ones that I have like that are the most active in my life, I would say. And I feel like that's almost a part of what's lacking from the JDM scene, right? Is the ingenuity and the originality. And with Americana, you see that. You see it in hot rods, you see it in classics, you see it in lowriders, where people just kind of, they want to step out of the box. There's certain things that people always do, right? Like there's like staple mods. But then there's those guys and those girls that take it one step further. And they're like, okay, how do we take the typical and how do we completely turn it on its fucking head? Right? Like you have women out there, for example, like Georgia. She has created some of the baddest cars. You know what I mean? Especially right now. Like in one of the ones that she got really known for, aside from her lowrider, like her G-Body, is the truck that she just built for SEMA. And that's a prime example of taking bits and pieces from these different things, getting her hands dirty and using her brain in this way that people are like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you can't tell me that you look at her builds and what she's created, like her and her husband, Hyman, it's like, fuck, dude, this is what it's all about. And on Saturday, that's what I got to walk around, and it kind of just like scratched that part of my brain, which I don't get to very often. And I know I'm attending lowrider stuff and classic car and things like that. Like I'm always going to these events, but there's something about the size of GNRS that doesn't make sense. And it will never make sense. It just gets bigger every single year. And if you've been to the Pomona, like Fairplex, you understand how large the fairgrounds are. You understand this is like a full takeover event where you're talking about hundreds of cars throughout this entire venue, parked outside, parked inside, because they have a bunch of like, how would you say, like event halls, kind of. They're almost like, not airplane hangars, but just imagine like small airplane hangars throughout the space. And they're just packed with all kinds of shit. And dude, I haven't been so happy like being at an event like that in such a long time. Like, don't get me wrong, I get joy from going to a lot of these events, right? Like I have my New Year's Day one, which is fucking rad. I have Pink Motel, which is my fucking number one all year. But there's something about GNRS that is special. And what's something that's really cool is getting to see the mesh of generations, because you will see so many people from young to old and how everybody comes together for this one thing. And it's like, oh shit, even if it's different, we're all here for the same reason. We're all here for the same love. And if you're a fabricator, you can kind of see that too, where it's like, hey dude, I made these things. Oh, I did this with these tabs and I welded this and bent this and kind of coated this and did all that. Somebody else is going to see that who's in that realm and say, oh shit, that's wild. Like there was a couple cars that I was shooting and some of the detail shots that I did, and even just stuff I was looking at that I wasn't shooting. I was lucky enough to have some of the owners see me doing that, whether it was shooting or just kind of looking at the builds. And they're like, what are you looking at? And I'd point it out. Oh, dude, look at this brake line. This is wild. Like, look at how it's tucked. This doesn't make any sense. Like, it's completely hidden from the eye. Aside from looking at this fitting and this tiny piece of the line, where's the rest of it? And I myself, I'm trying to figure, like, what made this person do that? How did you plumb this? How did you think about this? What tolerances and everything under the sun? What material did you use, right? It looks like stainless. Like, I want to know everything. And the guys are like, and this is for different builds, but again, most of these guys that would catch me are like, oh, so you do this shit. So you build too. And I say, yeah, I do. I build cars with my brother and we fuck around. We kind of do a little bit of everything, whether it's off-road, JDM, Euro, Classic. It doesn't really matter. Like, if it's got wheels on it, we probably fuck with it. And he's like, dude, that's cool. Like, I got that from multiple people. Like, the whole, dude, that's cool. Because it doesn't exist anymore. That type of shit is going away. And how do you keep this alive? It's events like this. It's almost like it's their responsibility to kind of keep these things going so that people, like-minded individuals, can keep getting together and keep this shit going. Because where else are you going to show off stuff like this, right? Like, don't get me wrong. The internet's fucking great. TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, it's all fucking amazing. We can see things from different parts of the world that maybe we'd never have access to. And I know for sure that's been the case for me a lot of the times, especially when it comes to stuff in Japan. I'm able to see things from a ground level in Japan here on a daily basis. I don't even have to leave the comfort of my home. I don't have to book a ticket. I don't have to do shit. I don't have to go to the mountains of Japan to see what some of these shops are doing because I can see it on a daily basis. And that's fucking incredible. But there's nothing like seeing and experiencing these things in person. And the Rod Show allows people kind of that stage where you get all of these people that are just kind of like making and painting and fabricating and doing all this amazing shit. And they're all showing it off at the same time. And it's not, to me, it's not even about the awards. And I know a lot of people who were competing on Saturday, whether it was for paint, whether it was for something. And all of them said the same thing. Like, I don't give a shit about the award at all. What I wanted is just to show what I did. And it's just like, it turns into this big ass show and tell that's fucking awesome. And you're getting to do it with people that love and care for the exact same thing. So you have all these people that are just in constant appreciation. Like, I was in awe the entire day. It didn't matter where I was. From the moment I walked into the venue to the moment I left. I would just, dude, it was fucking sensory overload. I just felt like fucking Taz from Looney Tunes. Like, I was like spinning everywhere. And I was like, I want to go here, I want to go here, I want to go here. Like, oh shit, look at this, look at that. And I'm losing my mind. But the coolest fucking thing, like I was saying to you guys, is that I let myself experience that. That I got to really sit in it. And even though I was working and I'm shooting and there's certain things I have to do, it didn't change the fact of what I was experiencing. And that I would just kind of come and go as I please, which was fucking cool. You know, I linked up with the homies there, got to kick it with Genocide, which is fucking great. Anytime I get to spend with them is literally the best fucking time. And honestly, it was a really special day for the club. And I'm very thankful to have been a part of that. We had two of the guys get plaqued. And to see and be a part of that experience is something I can't explain to you guys. You know, I think when you pledge for a club, it's more than just the cars, right? Like, it's about the family. And a lot of people ask me, like, why am I so close with this club? Like, why Genocide of all clubs? And I'm like, dude, it's not even that it's Genocide. I said, it's the people that they are. It's the way that they've made me feel, the way that they kind of took me in. And granted, like I've said before, unfortunately, it started from somewhat of a negative light. But that light turned into something really beautiful. And it's because of that situation, right? Like, there's nothing anybody could have done about that. But it's what we did with the aftermath, right? Like, how things kind of unfolded. And do I think Wax had some doing? I think for sure. I think he had some sort of play, you know, from wherever he's at, wherever he's watching. I think he was kind of like, nah, this needs to happen. Like, I want these people together. So I'm getting to sit here and experience that. And Saturday just kind of reinforces that. So when I get to sit there and see people and give hugs and say, dude, it's so good to see you. That's what this shit's all about. So again, getting to see, like, the plaquing is fucking sick. You know, so Shane and Albert got their plaques, which is fucking sick. Both of them have dope ass cars. And again, it's even outside of their cars. It's just the type of people that they are for the club. and what they represent and that kind of love that they have for each other. And it's like, this is dope. So me getting to see that and shoot that, which those photos are to come. So keep an eye out for those, which are really rad. But it's sick. And even going back and looking at the photos as I was processing them the other day, I was like, man, like you can see the smiles. You can see like in the hugs and all that. It's like, this is love right here. This is fucking tight. So getting to spend time with these people on Saturday, I would, come by the tent, kick back, shoot the shit, laugh, take pictures, just kick back. And then I would leave to go shoot. And then I'd come back, kick it some more, and then leave to go shoot. And it was something so weird about that felt so good. It's kind of having that home base and being around people that actually want you there. And that are very, how would you say, like not even, they say it, like it's an out, like they're saying this shit out loud. It's like, yo, like you're one of us, like be here with us. This is your home base. Go walk around, go do your fucking thing. But when you're done, you come here. This is where you come. You understand? This is home. And there's something about that. And I love that. And this scene has given me so much. I think like the last couple years that I've been involved with it has been very special. And I think it's been very transformative too, in multiple ways. And I've even talked about this with my therapist, and she agrees. She's like, there's something about this and this kind of like way of life that you've inserted yourself into and kind of let yourself experience. Like, this is where you need to be. And it's where you want to be. Right? Like I wanted to end up somewhere and be a part of something that means so much more. And I feel like as humans, as people, we always kind of want to strive for that. We want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. That's where, clubs come into play. That's where, camaraderie over the same sports teams and all kinds of shit like that, right? Because it's something bigger than you, but you're getting to relate and be with these people that are like-minded, that kind of understand, that have the same love and care and enthusiasm for this thing that you guys care for. So GNRS is that stage. It's that ground where for the West Coast, it's one of the biggest shows that we have all year round. And you get people from all over the fucking place, dude. There was people that flew in from Japan, from Norway, like all over the world, just to come for this weekend. And granted, it's a 3-day event, so you can do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I went on Saturday. And it's fucking sick. But you're all there for the same thing. And I really don't know how else. Like, I wish I had more words. Because it's so special. And it was really, really great. And honestly, dude, some of these cars are just fucking beautiful. These cars, these trucks, like, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. I've seen and I saw some of the best paintwork I've ever seen in my entire life. Ever. Like, it's really, really wild to see what guys like E-Dog, what guys like K-Daddy, pinstripers like Malik's. It's fucking nuts, Loki, like all these fucking guys. Like there's so much talent in this scene. And it's like, what do you even do with it? I could sit there for hours looking at these things, looking at what these people have created with their bare hands. And that's the shit that gets me, is all of these pieces, every single car that's there started as a blank canvas. There was nothing on it. It may or may not have been a solid color, but regardless, it's a blank canvas. And some of them started completely from scratch, where they did have some sort of color, a scheme, and they said, fuck it, we're starting all over. And then made something incredible. And that in itself, to me, is just mind-blowing. So again, I could sit there for hours looking at shit, looking at detail, looking at how they did this. Oh, they burned this, or oh, how they did that. Oh, they laid this here, layered this, put that, airbrush this, this, engine turn here, fucking brush stroke there, crazy shit. And just seeing how rare some of these parts are too on some of these cars, where it's like things I've never seen. Again, maybe it's the first time I've ever seen that in my fucking life, and maybe it'll be the last time. But some of this stuff I was able to capture, and I'm going to get to share with you guys, which I'm really excited about. But again, this level is almost unattainable in any other scene, in any other culture. Like, I think there's very few places in the world that really appreciate what they do. And I feel like outside of, how would you say it, like riding culture, low riding, like what I like to consider Americana, I think outside of that, you have places like Japan, where everything within the culture, it doesn't matter what it is. If Japan does it, it's going to be the fucking best. It is top fucking notch. Like if anyone has ever seen any of their classics, their lowriders, hot rods, anything in that scene over there, it's flawless. So you already know what I'm talking about. But Japan takes things to a whole other level. And I love it and I appreciate it. And that is a big driver for me. That's what I strive for, is like that level of perfection. And it's not even just to be like perfect, for something to be perfect, but I think it's loving something so much that you put this time, this energy into something so that it is beautiful and it comes out in this form where you're just like, that's it. That's the fucking mark. That's what we're looking for. So I feel like you have places like Japan, you have places like the UK, especially when it comes to Euros. Like, I think there's something so special about what the UK offers to the world when it comes to their tuning and the way that they do shit. It's again, like I look at it like I look at Japan. Like, there's a level of perfection, there's a level of understanding and love, that all of this is being done out of love. It's being done out of this immense care for something, to show you what something can really turn out to be. Whether it's fitment, interiors, paint, detail work, anything like that. The way that people care in certain parts and certain scenes, that's the driver for me. That's what I strive for. And it's like to end up somewhere where it's like, okay, we can do something. We can leave a mark here. We can be inspiring. We can show others. We can show the next generation, like, hey, this is why you do this. This is why you care. This is why you put this much love and intensity into things. And you can just be into something passively, right? Like, it doesn't have to be your whole entire life. But for me, this is my life. So when I talk about it, it's everything to me. It's not just a part of it. It's all of it. You know, and even in the magazine that I was featured in, people get to see that. And they got to read about it and understand that it's like, oh, he's not just a car guy. Like, he didn't just, get a car at 17 and start fucking around. Like, this was his life. This is what he was destined for. It was never going to go another way. It didn't matter what I did. Nothing was going to change the outcome of me being in the automotive scene to some extent. Growing up around the track, being with my uncle, seeing what he was doing to Volkswagens, to mini trucks, to Mazdas, like all kinds of shit. And just kind of being in this whole world. Like, I was almost doomed from the start, in the best way, right? Because look at where it landed me. And I'm super fucking thankful. Like, I'm thankful for that exposure. I'm thankful to the homies that I got to grow up with and mod around and just kind of see shit in a different light. And again, look at where I fucking ended up. Now it's a part of my job daily, where I'm getting to edit pictures of these amazing cars, and I'm getting to talk to different owners and see different this and work on projects here with this company and do this and do that. And even just from the corporate standpoint, like things that I've been able to do from the design side and these brands I've been able to work with, like, it's fucking nuts, dude. Household names, thing that people understand and they know. It's like, oh, I was a part of that. I did that. And that's exciting. It's sick. So it's fucking cool. And again, Saturday's event was huge for me. It was huge. And if I could do it again, I'd fucking do it again. So, like, I'm excited for next year. I'm excited for what's to come. Who knows what opportunities are going to come from now up until that point. And I think that's the other exciting thing too, where it's like, I try to have these, not like these markers, but almost like a marker in a sense, where it's like, okay, I wonder where I'm going to be this time next year. Because the same thing happened to me at Pink Motel, where it was like, when I went to my first Pink, I was like, this is fucking amazing. This is beautiful. Loved it. Fast forward And it's like, look where I ended up. And then fast forward again, look where I ended up. So it's like, it's a trip to think about life like that. Like, and it also gives you like a light to work towards. It gives you a sense of hope. And I think right now, I really need that for myself. Like, I need to keep that hope alive because there's so much going on that I'm overwhelmed and stressed with, but I can't let it kill what I'm working towards. Cause it's like, okay, it's fuck, none of that shit's here. These are things to think about and things to consider, but it's like, this is where we're at right now. So let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it moving. Right. So it's exciting. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. But the weekend was fucking great. The cars were incredible. All the hugs that were shared, the memories that were made. You know, I ran into one of my homies that just announced his pregnancy on Friday. So it was fucking sick to see him on Saturday, him and his girl. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's moments like that. Moments like that. And I'm like, yes, this is exactly where the fuck I'm supposed to be. This is why I do what I do. Yes. Like, this is what this shit's all about. So it's fucking sick. I loved it. Saturday was incredible. And again, spending time with family and seeing what I did is inspiring to be surrounded by that much love, that much care, that much effort. And just that level of craftsmanship is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So going into my Sunday, I was exhausted because it was a long day. And there's other things that go along with that long day, but you know, I don't want to get into all that shit. But what I will tell you is a very, very long day. And it was funny because it was like that for the homies too, for various other reasons, considering that they woke up at like 2, 3 in the morning to get to GNRS when they did. Fucking nuts. But yeah, going into my Sunday, I was tired, but I was feeling good. It was a good day. It was my brother Jay's birthday. And I had been talking with his little brother and we were trying to like plan something and figure some shit out, do like a little surprise party situation. We ended up doing that. And it was sick. We had a great time. Everybody's having drinks and talking. It was simple, dude. Like, and I think that's a big thing. Like, people forget the whole like parties and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be a big ass production, right? Like, you have the right people. It doesn't matter if you got a fucking couple bags of chips and some chairs, like, you're good. That's the fucking party, right? And that's essentially what we did. Everybody was having drinks, we're laughing, we're talking, shooting the shit, having some pizza, snacking. And I'm like, this is tight, man. It was fucking tight. So it was just a weekend full of that. And like, my cup, it just was overflowing. Come Monday, I didn't even know what to do with myself. I was like, dude, there was so much love this past weekend. So much beauty in all of it. You know, family, just everything. I'm like, this is what it's all about. You know, I got to spend time with my nephew. And it's crazy because I see him. I mean, I feel like I see him pretty often, which is pretty awesome. And I want to see him more, which is even, for me, it's like, I can't get enough of the kid. Like, I love him. You know what I mean? He's just a little bean. And he's fucking growing. And it's like, how is this possible? Like, you just came out. You've been here for like 10 minutes. And like, what the fuck? Like, why are you growing already? But he's a trip seeing his mannerisms and all this. And it's like, this is life right here. And, you know, even I had one of my family members ask me, they're like, dude, you know, it's the typical brown shit, right? Like, you know, when are you going to have kids? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? I'm like, dude, first off, you need 2 people to do that. And I don't even know if I'm going to hit that. So like, who knows what the fuck is going to happen? And I've also come to the realization that like, I'm okay with not having kids of my own. I think I've been blessed and fortunate enough for the people that I love and care for so much that are around me, they have kids. And it's like, I get to grow up with them. I get to see them get older and be a part of raising them in their lives. And there's going to be a certain point where I'll get to instill wisdom. I'll get to show them things. I'll get to say, hey, this is what your Uncle Rob does. You know, and I'll get to take them to work and all these things, right? Like, take them to photo shoots and show them what the graphic design is and all of that. It's exciting. So it's like, that type of shit's okay. Like, and there's something beautiful about that. So even on Sunday, I have that too, where it's like, I feel complete. My brother just had a baby and I get to hang out with that baby. And I look at my sister, I'm like, oh my God, you're a fucking mom. You're a mom now. Like, this is amazing. Look at you. You're glowing. Like, and that's what it's all about. And seeing him too, seeing him glow as a dad, it's like you change almost overnight. Like, I watch you, the way that you look at this little thing that you've created, and that's you. It's a part of you. You and your wife made this thing out of all this love, and now it's going to experience that. This little guy is going to experience all the things because of that love. So it brings me a lot of peace. Like, at first I was really bummed out, like a couple of years ago even, where I'm like, dude, I'm getting older. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And I was almost like pressuring myself into it. And then I just kind of landed in this spot where I'm like, I'm good. I'm good on it. Even with my other brother, Ben, and his wife, Nicole, when they were here from the UK and I got to spend time with Locks, like my other nephew, it's like, this is it right here. And getting to hug him and hold him. Like, I miss that kid so much. I look at his pictures and I'm just like, oh, I miss this little guy, dude. He's so fucking rad. He is so fucking rad. And granted, he has like really cool ass parents, but it's like, he's just a rad little dude. And it's like, this is what this is about. It's not about thinking about what I'm missing from my life, but it's thinking about and realizing what the fuck I have in front of me. Which is love, which is family. I have my kids, I have my nephews and they feel like my kids. And I couldn't ask for anything else. Like, that is the most special thing, is to be given that and to understand, like, you get to experience this. It might not be personally, right? Like, you might not have your own, but you're going to experience this one way or another. So it's sick. And Sunday was fucking amazing for multiple reasons. To celebrate my brother's birthday, be with family, laugh, all the things. It's like, this is sick. Love that. And, we had a lot of conversation about a lot of things, whether it was like relationships, current political situation, which granted, I know it's like nobody ever wants to talk about politics, but it's almost hard to not talk about it, right? Because there's so much going on that is heavy right now. And we're trying to figure out what to do and how to navigate and where to kind of put your feet, because it almost feels like there's no solid ground for anything. And that's really how I feel about it from a personal standpoint. Like, there's no solid ground. That's why last week I was talking about, you have to kind of worry about your world, worry about yourself. Like, it's one thing to be a part of protests, which is sick. Right, like the protests that went down Sunday, even Monday. Monday was fucking rad, and we'll get into that in a second. But it's like, you almost can't not, like, it's in your head, it's in your heart, it's in your mind, it's in your vision, it's right there. All of this shit is happening real time. It's not a movie anymore. These are things that we used to see in movies, and now it's happening. Stateside, it's fucking happening. The US is like a goddamn movie right now. So we're trying our best to get a grip on things. We're trying our best to figure things out to the best of our abilities, right? But all you can do is worry about your world. All you can do is worry about yourself, because if you are not okay, if your world is not okay and under control, how are you going to handle anything else? How are you going to take on the world's problems if your shit is falling apart, right? So then going into Monday, and seeing how all those protests were going down, like, there were some people that were upset, but granted, someone's going to be upset about something, right? You can't fucking win. But it was sick to see people come together for that. That immigration, it doesn't just affect one group of people. Immigrants is everyone who comes here, right? Like, it affects all of us to a certain extent. Minorities. There's so many people that are being hit by this. And I know a lot of the media is pushing, you see a lot of like the Latino side of it, but there's so many other people that are affected too. And Monday was a chance for so many people to get together and show that and say, hey, like, we're here to support. And that's what this shit's about, right? It's like people coming together and realizing this is about love. This is about community. We are here as people. So let's run it up as people. Let's do this as people. Because all we have is each other at the end of the day. And granted, it's like you might not know the person next to you, complete stranger, but we're here for the same reason. And I love you for that. And that's fucking tight. That's what this shit's about. So it was cool to see that. And of course, there's the other fucking side of it. We have people wilding out and doing dumb shit. I mean, you can't win them all, right? It's like the same shit that went down for the Dodgers, right? Like when Jay and I went to the parade where we were, it was fucking sick. Streets full of love, laughter, people wilding out in the best way, all positive shit. But then you'd see clips of other people wilding out, doing bad shit. And you're like, well, it's inevitable, right? Like some people want to watch the world burn and they're going to take any opportunity they can. And people did the same shit on Monday, Sunday, where some people are just going to take advantage. Oh, there's a shit ton of people out here. Let's do some bad shit. But whatever. Fuck those fools. It ain't about them, right? It's about the cause. It's about people coming together and that they said, no, you know what? Let's say we're not shopping today. There was businesses that were closed and said, hey, you know what? Fuck this. We're not standing for this shit. Fuck this. And it may not seem like a big deal. And there might be a lot of people that were pissed off by it. And so this is bullshit. This is bullshit. It's not bullshit. When you stand for something and you want to be about something, this is your opportunity to do so. This is your time. You can use your platform, whether it's social media. You can go out and stomp the streets and do what you got to do and make signs and yell about it, scream about it. You can do that shit. We are in a place that allows us to do so. There's so many spots in this world that you can't even do a quarter of that, an ounce of that, a drop of that. Because the government will come for you. People will come for you. You will have to answer for those things. And we have the luxury of speaking on it and running it the fuck up. Going up to your council members and going up to certain buildings and holding a sign that says, fuck you. I'm here. We ain't going anywhere. And there's something powerful about that. There's something so moving about that, to see that kind of, that movement. And so many generations, so many different age groups, and so many different races coming together to say, yo, let's band up. So it was tight and it was beautiful and it was empowering to be a part of that and to see that in some way. So it was fucking rad. And like I had mentioned to you guys earlier, I had a buddy of mine reach out and was talking to me about last week's podcast and just kind of what it did for him, like what it meant to him. And that he understood it. Like it spoke to him 100%. So Taylor, shouts to you. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for expressing that, because that's what this is about, G. It's about these conversations, and all of y'all that are watching and or listening, like that's what this is about. That's why I always tell you guys thank you. And I appreciate when you do reach out to me, whether it's text, call, DM, something. Because it's beautiful. Like that's what this is about. We together have created something amazing. And a lot of y'all might not realize it, but it's like there's a whole network of us that fuck with this podcast, that are like-minded, that are kind of like, hey, you know what? I get it. I get it. I fuck with what Rob is saying. Like I fuck with that. And because, you know, you fuck with him, I fuck with you. So there's a lot of you guys that you don't even know. Y'all fuck with each other. Like if I was to somehow be able to get all of y'all that fuck with this podcast, if I was to put everybody in the same room, I wouldn't even imagine. I couldn't even understand just the vibe that would go off. It'd be crazy. That shit would be straight electric. So again, having moments where I have people like Taylor who reach out, and he's an incredible human. Fucking incredible. He's full of light, love. He's created something beautiful with Karuma. For those of you guys who know what Karuma is, you already know what I'm talking about. But he is just this person that exudes what the world needs. He is a light. He is a gift. And I'm so blessed. I'm so lucky to have somebody like him in my life. Not just as a friend, but somebody supporting what I do from the creative standpoint, because it's rough out here. We're all trying to do something. We're all trying to figure something out. And if we don't have each other's backs or each other's support, it's like, well, what the fuck are you doing this for? How are you going to do it? And it's people like him. So, and Taylor, I don't mean to put you on blast like that, but I mean it, G. Like, I really do. Like, I appreciate you. I love you, dude, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for always running up the cast the way you do. And it's again, those moments, like, that's what makes this shit worth it. All of it, every single part of it. And even in the moments, like I was telling you guys too earlier, that I've been feeling anxious. I've been feeling overwhelmed with like trying to make things happen almost ahead of their timelines. Cause it's like, how am I going to get more money? How am I going to find more clients? If I'm in a dry spell, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle this right now? And I'm kind of losing it. Like, I feel like I'm kind of losing the grip on things. But then I get moments like that and they kind of ground me, where I'll have these little conversations. I'll have these little bits, or I'll have these moments of like pieces on Saturday, pieces on Sunday, again, having this little talk with Taylor after he reached out, that it's like, all right, we're good. These are things I can stand on. These are things that are supporting what I do. They make me feel like I can continue. That even though it might not be the most stable, it's like, it's okay. You can stand here. Just take your step. And then put the next thing down, and you're going to stand there. Put the next thing down, you're going to stand there. So like, I feel like I can get through shit. Like, I feel hopeful. And I was even telling that to my therapist too, where it's like, you know what? As stressed as I am about so much, about money, about family, like my grandma's health, like it's been really fucking rough lately. I worry about my mom's health too, because it's really not that great either. And it's like, despite everything, I feel hopeful. Like, shit is going to work out. I don't know when, I don't know why, I don't know how. And I've never felt something like this before. I've had things that I've just kind of like lived through and I kind of get through it, but I don't necessarily feel hopeful. And a part of me was almost like, are you lying to yourself? Is it like a fake it till you make it situation? Like, are you just bullshitting so that you can kind of eventually believe it? And it's like, don't we all have to do that to some extent? Don't you have to keep telling yourself that shit's going to be okay because one day shit really is going to be okay? So I don't consider this like that I'm lying to myself or that I'm faking the funk in some way. It's like, I have to keep this mindset and I need to stay in this place, because if I go elsewhere, how is that going to benefit me? What am I going to benefit from being depressed and being fucking exhausted and just giving into that? I can't. Because I also know what that is too, to give into all that shit. And I won't get up for days. I fucking won't. What benefits me from just sitting there, staying in bed and being sad? Nothing. And do you have your moments where you need to feel shit like that? Of course. I'm not saying don't feel that. But for me, with where I'm at and what I feel, I gotta keep it pushing. I have to move as much as I fucking can. Even if it's a small step, like, I gotta keep it pushing. That's what all of this shit's about. And I feel hopeful because of that. I know things are going to work out. Like, I don't know how, again, or why, or whatever, or when, but they are going to work out. All of this shit is going to pay off. The work, the time, the energy, the effort, all of it, it's all going to pay off. And certain things have. And I get those glimpses, right, where I'm like, sick. You know, like the magazine. That was a surprise. And to me, I was like, oh shit, this is wild. This is wild. Like, this is fucking cool. Somebody saw what I was doing and what I do and said, that's the guy. Let's do a piece. He's the one. People need to know. I want to know more about him, and I know other people want to know more about him. So it's an honor to be included in things like that. And hopefully there's more to come in the future, and hopefully I have more amazing and exciting things to share with you guys, because it's just going to reinforce this. It's going to have me come back to this episode and say, oh shit, that I was right. That's exactly what it was about, you know? And when I was just kind of surfing over the weekend, just kind of looking at shit on my phone, I read something and I was like, that's it for the week. This is what I want to share with you guys. And this is the piece that I read. There's no shame in making mistakes while you're trying to figure things out. The goal is to live a fulfilling life, not a perfect one. One more time. There's no shame in making mistakes while you're trying to figure things out. The goal is to live a fulfilling life, not a perfect one. And that's what I have to constantly remind myself. I'm so worried about the mistakes that I make and whether I make the right moves and do this and do that. And I can't keep doing that shit to myself. Like life isn't meant to be perfect. And it's in the things that are all fucked up. I think that's where you kind of find the beauty. At least that's where I find it. That's a lot of the times where I end up finding the light that I need. It's almost like the diamond in the rough type shit, you know? And that there's no shame in making mistakes. It's okay. It's okay to fuck things up. I think when you make certain mistakes and you get results maybe that aren't so desirable, it's like, well, at least I fucking tried. At least I'm trying to do something. At least I'm trying to figure something out. Because I'd rather do that and make mistakes my entire life than to sit here and wonder what would have happened. Because there's so many people that aren't here today that I used to speak to, that used to be a part of my everyday life. And they'll never have the opportunity to do so. And all of those people, I'm pretty sure they would tell me the same fucking thing, which is just to fucking do it. Just do it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work out. Just make shit happen. Make the fucking decision. So what? The whole thing collapses. Well, you weren't going to know unless you did it. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe shit works out. And that's how I'm just trying to do it. I feel like I'm just winging it right now. And I hope a lot of you guys that are watching or listening, I hope you can kind of relate to that in some way. Because if you guys are just winging it right now, who gives a shit? Like, cheers to y'all. Cheers to every single one of y'all out there that are fucking winging it, that are trying to do something, that are trying to make something of their lives. And you don't know what the fuck you're doing or why you're doing it. But you're just trying to walk forward. Shouts to you for getting up. Shouts to you for taking those steps to make shit happen, because it's a lot more than a lot of other people are willing to do. People lead their life with fear. And that's not the way to do it. I can't tell you how to live your life, but I can tell you that living a life with your primary principle being fear, that's not how you do it. It can be one thing to kind of use it as a driver, like a fear of not making it type of shit, but don't let it run your life. Do what you can right now, every single day. Everything outside of what's in front of you, you got no control over it. Surrender to it, the same way that we've talked about for how long, right? You got to go with the flow. Just kind of let the water take you where it may. Just make sure that when you need to stop, you kind of pull a branch and you stop for a bit. Because we need it, right? We got to like kind of readjust and figure things out for ourselves once in a while. But, well, I mean, not even once in a while, all the fucking time, right? But you need to kind of take those moments. And even on Saturday, when I was at the show and I'm working, I'm doing my thing, I still got to have my moments of solace where I got to sit there and say, yo, this is sick. This is really what I'm doing right now. I'm 34, have a BFA in design. I've done all these things and I do all this shit right now. And this machine that I have in my hand, this beautiful thing has led me to this exact point. All the people that I've met, come across, situations, jobs, all that shit, good, bad, ugly, everything in between, has led me to this exact moment that I'm getting to experience love and things that I love. And it's beautiful. It really fucking is. So I hope that you guys are able to take something from this episode. I hope it sparks conversation. I hope you're able to kind of give yourself a little bit of time to think about it, process it. Again, if y'all ever want to talk, you already know. Don't hesitate. Reach out to your boy. We can have conversation. All the fuck you want. That's what this is about. I appreciate you guys. And again, thank you for all of your love, all of your support. I know I say love a lot, but I fucking mean it. So I hope I don't kind of like diminish that, you know, because I know some people be like, oh, love, 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 love. And I get it. We try to find ways to express ourselves. And for me, like, I'm kind of at a loss for words for a lot, but I do love y'all and I appreciate you. And thank you for always pushing me and supporting me and standing behind this cast, because this project is not just for me. It's for you guys. So thank you. I appreciate y'all. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, an incredible week, an even better weekend. And I will catch you guys on the next one.